Welcome to another episode of the And Now I Know podcast. I'm your host, 32 Flavazz, and I'm here to inspire you to live life at your fullest potential. If you're looking for a podcast that's going to inspire you to chase your dreams, motivate you to get up each and every day, and help you navigate life just a little bit better, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on any streaming platform, I'm talking Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Podcasts, be sure to hit that follow button and don't forget to download each and every episode because we need that money. Okay, so I'm super excited because today is another solo episode, and I love solo episodes because I feel like I can dig really deep. Even though I dig deep when my guests are here, I do feel like I can kind of curate and navigate how I want things to go and move throughout the episode. So I'm excited. And today I decided to piggyback off of the last episode, episode 5. Right, and that episode was called Woman to Woman. So if you haven't listened to it, be sure to go back and check it out. But on that episode, me and my bestie gave relationship advice. We gave about 6 tips that we've learned over the course of our, dating journey and through relationships and through our healing journey. And so today I figured, why not talk about the back end of that, or the root of that, which would be self-love or self-worth. So I'm going to focus on self-love, self-worth. It's all the same thing. I'll probably come up with a funky title when you guys are listening to this and watching this. Hopefully, I don't know what the title going to be, but we going to see. Anyway, y'all, I figured self-love will be great because self-love is the root of a lot of things, right? How we carry ourselves, how we move, how we date, how we walk, how we talk, how we hold our head up. You feel me? So y'all know me. Of course, I'm going to mention that therapy is the reason why I felt like making sure you have a high self-esteem is so important. I feel like having a high self-esteem is so important. And it really, going through therapy just made me see like, wow, like who you are inside truly is a reflection of all the things, a lot of things, how you move, like I just said, how you walk, you talk, how you date. So I made a conscious effort throughout my healing journey, throughout my therapy journey, to learn different ways to increase my self-esteem. So today I'll be discussing the importance of self-love and things I've learned and done to increase my self-esteem over the years, right? And I believe that it is so important to get to know exactly who you are and not what the world or life experiences have made you out to be. When you learn who you are and you dig deep, it allows you to build your self-esteem around your true identity. Okay, do y'all know how many people are out here faking it, old and young, men and women? There's so many people walking around here acting like their self-esteem is so high when in reality it's in the pits, right? And so the question you want to ask yourself is, who am I when I remove and strip away the money, the cars, the clothes, the accolades, the awards, the degrees? What would you say about you? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people think of you, what other people say about you. It's about what you feel about you, okay? And because we as people have trained our mind to think that what we have contributes or makes us have high self-esteem, which is totally false. When really the people who have it all usually are the people with the low self-esteem. So if you refer back to my episode number 4 called When It All Falls Down, I talk about I dive a little bit into self-esteem, but I just was saying that a lot of times people we walk around with these flashy fly things thinking that is making us, look like we have high confidence, when in reality, a lot of times people who having it all, they just trying to impress or make other people believe that they having it or their confidence is high or they're doing well in life, right? That's not always the case, but a lot of times, especially in the Black and brown community, it is, right? We be flexing, and deep down inside, we need to do some healing, okay? So you can tell how high or low someone's self-esteem is simply by observing their moves, who they date, how they dress, how they carry themselves. People always talk about what they have. Those people usually are like those people I just described, are basing their self-esteem off of, the material things. So there's this clip that I saw on Instagram. It was a reel, actually, of the motivational speaker, the GOAT. His name is Les Brown, L-E-S Brown, okay? And essentially the reel was saying that you can tell a lot about a person the moment that they open up their mouth. Okay. Again, you could tell a lot about a person the moment that they open up their mouth. Okay. People usually tell it all and say it all. Have y'all ever been around somebody, or have you ever been the person that be like, I'm not trying to be funny, but XYZ. I'm not trying to make this about me, but XYZ. I'm not trying to. And it's almost like your insecure self is fighting with the person who is being perceived. Like your insecure self is fighting with what the world is seeing, right? So you trying to portray that you are confident, but your insecure self, the person who is not confident in who they are, has to cover that up by saying, I'm not trying to sound like, I'm not trying to be like, when instead you should be saying exactly what you mean, exactly, mean exactly what you say is what I'm saying, right? And so, especially being in therapy, it's like your brain starts taking note and observing things in a different light. That's another reason why I'm so big on self-development, because I don't want people to read me based off of the things that I'm saying. Because again, when you start talking, you are telling a lot about yourself. And a lot of people just be screaming insecure. I know I was one of those people. It's just like the words that you say, a lot of it be projection, and I talk a lot about that in my past episodes, but we really just be projecting how we feel inside, and that is truly a reflection of our self-esteem. And I feel like so many people out here are not self-aware or not paying attention to how they come off and how they are received or can be perceived by other people. But yeah, y'all, start taking a look within, so that way you don't start spilling or start speaking out of insecurity and not out of your true identity, right? So, what are some things I do or things that I did to currently better or increase my self-love? So, I'm going to talk about, I got a whole bunch of tips, y'all. The first one is learning to trust myself. Trusting my responses, trusting my answers, trusting who I am, and standing on it, okay? I feel like I'm in the era of, and I don't even want to say era because I feel like this would be me until infinity. I am in the era of standing on business about who I am, because I know who I am. I'm confident in who I am, and I'm working towards increasing self-love. And like, I feel like there's no end to self-love or self-esteem, right? As long as you're not snobby or snooty, or you just, a a-hole, right? But I feel like I know. I say I feel like a lot, y'all. I need to start saying I know, okay? But prior to therapy, I felt like I was super codependent on advice from others. And I always have been a sound person, a wise person. And the one thing I could not stand about myself was always jumping and seeking advice from other people, when people are only going to give you advice based off of who they are, how they feel, their self-esteem, right? One person can tell you, oh, that's a great idea. And another person can tell you, oh, that's a horrible idea, or that won't work, or that'll work. And it's all based off of how they feel about themselves, So I found it very important to learn how to trust yourself. Trust how you handle the situation, whether you handled it good or bad. Just stand on business about you and who you are, right? If you don't like certain things, you don't like certain things. If you love certain things, stand on it, right? If you hate certain things, even though hate is a strong word, stand on it, right? So I used to be so y'all, something would happen, right? It could be anything. Let's just say something happened in a relationship, or something happened with a client within my business, and I would think something, stand firm on something, and then it's like I will call someone else to confirm my thought. And to me, now I know, because when you know better, you do better. That was not a reflection of high self-esteem, because a person with high self-esteem, a person who has a high level of self-love, you don't have to always seek advice. Now, I'm not saying getting advice or receiving wise counsel is wrong. Okay, we all need wise counsel, but a lot of times the counsel don't be wise, right? And so we're seeking advice because we can't stand firm on what we believe and what we think and what we feel. And so when I started truly standing and trusting myself, trusting how I respond, trusting how I feel inside, and not second guessing it based off someone else's opinion, that is when I felt like my self-esteem and my confidence and my self-love just started to skyrocket. Because it's like, man, I don't care what nobody say, what nobody think. This is how I feel, and that's just what it is. Now, I do still call people, or my good friends for advice on some things, or I might talk to, my mom or whoever about certain things. But for the most part, I'm trying my best to make sure I stand in who I am and trust in myself. All right. Next is going to be knowing what I want, knowing my non-negotiables, knowing my likes, knowing my dislikes. It's like when you know what you want and what you don't want, what you like and what you don't like, what are your non-negotiables, you carry yourself differently. You're not settling for certain things. And settling, I don't care what it is, settling in a friendship or relationship, business, whatever, like settling knocks down your self-esteem, okay? Whether you see it or not, or feel it or not. When you settling, it's like each day that percentage is going from 100 to 99 to 98 to 97, etc., right? So just make sure you take time to sit down and write and figure out what you like, what you love, what you dislike. Not based off of anybody else's opinion, whether that's family, friends. Like, you don't need anybody else's opinion. Stand firm on exactly who you are, okay? And all of who you are, okay? And be comfortable with that. Number 3 is going to be self-discipline, right? So working out, feeding my mind with things that are beneficial to the mind, challenging myself, pushing myself to new limits, starting new business ideas or starting new businesses, right? That self-discipline, when you challenging yourself, challenging your mind and your brain, your body, your soul, pushing yourself to new heights, it makes you believe in yourself, right? And you are setting limits based off of your own limits, your own goals. I see posts all the time that say, be your own body goals, be your own X, Y, and Z, right? Because your only competition is you. There is no such thing as other competition. You only need to be focused on you. I'm talking tunnel vision when it comes to who you are, right? Number 4 is going to be affirmations. I speak a lot about this on my inspirational and motivational reels and videos and content on TikTok and stuff. But speaking light over your life is so important. And one way to help increase and raise your self-esteem and your belief in yourself is using I am phrases. I don't care. I am when you wake up in the morning. I am before you go to bed at night. I am wealthy. I am successful. I am smart. I am wise. I am courageous. Do you know how many people out there, and I'm sure a lot of you who are listening, like, you might have not have received that when you were growing up. People might have not have affirmed you and made you feel like you were worthy, feel like you were your points were valid, made you feel like your feelings were valid. So trust and believe. When you speak light over your life, you know how they say the power of the tongue, there's life and death. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. There's life and death in the tongue, okay? You really do have to speak love and positivity over your life. And I'm not going to say I've been practicing that. I live by that, right? And as y'all can see, I come on a lot of my motivational videos and I tell y'all, believe in yourself. I am. Don't let nobody tell you what you are. Okay, you are because God says so, right? And a lot of times we be needing to go back and dig deep in our word, because the word is going to let you know who you are in God's eyes, right? And it's honestly, this race is between, or with, not between, but it's with you and God, right? If you know, you know. So another thing that falls under the affirmations piece is not downplaying myself or shrinking myself to make other people feel good. If you are shrinking yourself or downplaying yourself, whether that's your success, where you are in life, or just trying to play like you ain't who you are, you aren't who you are, that is taking more hits at your self-esteem. You got to show up in rooms like God called you to be there. You got to show up in rooms like you are so sure and certain, even if you got to fake it till you make it, right? I got a video about that. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you actually believe it. But you got to show up in rooms like, I am who I am. God called me here. I deserve to be here, right? So I believe that we all should be humble beings because without God, none of this is possible. But I do think that sometimes we can put ourselves in situations or be talking to certain people who don't have that light or don't show a certain type of confidence. And so we try to downplay ourselves or downplay our accomplishments to make other people feel comfortable. And again, that is taking a jab at your self-esteem. All right, next is going to be number 5, modesty. Okay, now this is something that I am still working on, but if I go back to, this might even be months ago, y'all. I'm gonna just say things that I wore when I went out might have been more see-through, more mesh. And don't get me wrong, I love putting that on. Okay, I love looking good, feeling confident, feeling sexy when I go out. But I feel like your confidence should be beaming from the inside. Like literally, you should be able to have a full outfit on, a turtleneck on, a skirt on that's not form fitted, your no skin showing, and people should still be able to feel your confidence, right? And so I used to love wearing Shane Justin outfits because shout out to Shane Justin. I love his pieces, but I feel like I'm in a place where when I'm going out now, I want to give grown woman vibes. Like I don't want to be out here showing every little thing. And now don't get me wrong, based off of my shape and my build, things may just automatically be form fitted because I'm not going to wear nothing that just makes me look crazy, right? Or not fit for my body type. But I feel like it doesn't have to be all see-through. It don't have to be, and I still wear leggings and stuff. I still wear crop tops. This is a crop top. You guys who are listening can't see, but I have on a crop top right now and some fitted jeans. But I'm just working on making my closet more modest. Still fly, still fine, feeling fine when I put the clothes on, but just a little bit more modest and turning it down, And I also believe that when you grow closer with God, it's like he gives you the affirmations that you need. And it's like, I don't have to wear certain stuff. Not saying that you putting on certain stuff just for others, but you are putting on certain stuff trying to show off what God gave you. And I do believe that I'm not going to say we, I'm going to speak for myself. I think it's important for me to make sure that I'm not highlighting my figure and I'm highlighting what's within. Okay. So speaking of that, this was a couple months ago. I had went out to a bar or this nice little bar with one of my friends and I had on this turtleneck outfit on. It was like a 3-piece set. It was a turtleneck. It was some leggings, and then it was like a little wrap thing that covered my waist, like my waistline. And I felt so confident in that because number 1, it was all black. 2, it was super cute. And 3, my whole entire body was covered. Like my skin was not showing at all. The only thing that was showing was my neck up and my wrist down, right? And so when I walked into the room, it was like, okay, your aura is what matters. Your aura is what people are going to feel and see. Even though my outfit still was cute, but I'm just trying to work on and hold myself accountable to just dressing a little bit more modest. Now, in the summertime, that could be slightly harder to do because it do be hot. But I'm trying to, walk in my grown woman era, right? And act like I love myself, right? Number 6 is going to be dating correctly. So who you date is a reflection of your self-worth, point blank, period. I know y'all remember, some of y'all might remember that Moneybagg Yo song, and he be like, you're a reflection of me, shawty. You're a reflection of me. And the person that you date is a reflection of you and who you are. Right? And so I feel like in moments where my self-esteem might have been lower, now I might have been walking around fronting like I had it all together, but deep down inside when my self-esteem was lower, it reflected in the people that I chose to date, right? And that don't mean them people were just, crumbs and bums. I'm not saying that, but the person who I am today probably wouldn't have dated the people that I have dated in the past, right? Just based off of a whole bunch of things. But when it comes to self-love, you really have to have your standards high. Don't settle for nothing just because you bored, just because you impatient. Like, you really got to know what you want and know what looks like what's good for business. I used to use this term like that's bad for business. That's bad for business. And the person that you date can be bad for business, your life's business, your actual business. I can't tell you how many times it's like, oh, you dated this person. You know, you don't want to hear those type of things, right? And granted, I was younger, and when you know better, you do better. But I'm just speaking on where I am today. Like, loving yourself more and having that high self-esteem really does help you navigate through life better, right? So number 7 is going to be making myself the priority. Again, making myself the priority. And so that looks like setting boundaries, saying no, not overcommitting. I can tell you how many times I had to break this people pleasing mentality. And having a people pleaser mentality is also showing that you or I need to work on self-esteem, because people who have high self-esteem, they're not out here just people pleasing. They saying no. No is the answer. No is the explanation. They're not overcommitting because they feel like they have to, or people aren't going to like them or approve of them. Like, all of this, y'all, just really does go back down to self-love and self-worth, right? Number 8 is going to be doing things alone. Okay, not being so codependent, not always being on the phone. Like, when I was younger, y'all, I used to always be on the phone, just yapping, oversharing, okay? And, you know, venting to your friends and talking to your friends and family and clients is cool, but I know that looking back on certain moments, I wouldn't have told certain people certain things. I wouldn't have told certain clients certain things. No shade, no tea, but everything is not for everybody, right? And so when your self-esteem is high and when your self-love is high, you just do better. You handle things better. You know what to say and what not to say. You don't always have to talk and speak, you know? And so in this season, I'm trying to make a conscious effort to do more things alone, right? Be maybe going on a solo date. I always work out by myself. I never was one of those people that enjoy working out with other people, but solo dates, you know, taking yourself to do things by yourself, right? And not feeling like you got to be on the phone or someone else has to be present in order to get things done. Following that, number 9 will be self-care, right? Because when you take care of yourself, that makes you love yourself even more, right? When you schedule those lash appointments, nail appointments, those hair appointments, those haircuts, that helps build your confidence, because when you look good, you feel good. I don't care what nobody say. Like, to me, that's not materialistic. I love getting my lashes done, my nails done. Like, it just makes me feel clean. And when I show up in a room, I'm confident because I know I am polished. Especially as a woman, it's so important to be polished and making sure you're taking care of yourself, right? Because you deserve it. And number 10 is going to be loving yourself in all stages of life. I'm talking rich, I'm talking poor, I'm talking up, I'm talking down, especially as a woman or even as a man too. Like, you know, your weight may fluctuate. You might have, in one season, you might have a job that's paying you one thing. Another season, you might have a job paying you another thing. And it's just so important to love yourself in every season of life, because I've talked about this in other episodes, but there has been seasons where I might have been like super up, right? Super having it. A lot of things are going my way, and that increased my confidence. But when things slow down, because things do slow down, we all have different seasons and runs and waves, right? So when things slow down, you don't want that to have a negative impact on your self-esteem. Okay, because it'll show and it'll reflect, and you ain't even got to say nothing. It'll just show in how you move and how you carry yourself, and the things you saying to yourself, the things you saying to other people, right? So moral of the story is, y'all, self-love is so important, and it is so important to make sure you are knowing your non-negotiables, knowing what you love, what you like, what you dislike, so that way you can stand on business and build your confidence and self-esteem off of your true identity and not what someone else or the world made you out to be, right? And so at the end of the day, when you know better, you do better. And this was a super quick episode, but I just had to make sure I piggybacked off that last episode called Woman to Woman. Again, if you have not listened to that episode, be sure to go back and listen to that so you guys can really feel what I'm saying on this episode. But yeah, y'all, I am in the era of just loving on myself, loving on me, appreciating me in all seasons and areas of my life. I'm super happy to be in this space, right? I feel like I have never been more at peace. I have never felt, more confident, and I'm really just standing on business about myself, and I'm just going to encourage you to do the same. So now let's get into the And Now I Know segment. And now I know that it is so important to love yourself. It is so important to work on things that help increase your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-love. Because at the end of the day, people can smell and feel if you have low self-esteem, if you don't love yourself. It's just in the way you move and the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you handle other people, right? The things you say to other people. So I'm going to encourage you to make sure you dive deep into who you are if you haven't already. And if you are on a therapy journey, a healing journey, a self-love journey right now, I am sending my love to you. I am applauding you, because it is not easy to be self-aware. It is not easy to really dive deep and pour into you, especially when a lot of people aren't really doing it, right? I feel like a lot of people are focusing on self-love, or people are focusing on self-love these days, but really, really take the time to get to know who you are, so that way you can build your self-love and your self-esteem, your confidence off of your true identity. I think I've said that like 3 times now, but I love y'all. Thank y'all for listening to another episode. We are here at episode 6, and I'm super excited for episode number 7, right? So again, if you are not already, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at 32 Flavors. Be sure to follow me at 32 Flavors at And Now I Know Podcast, and be sure to check us out on TikTok as well. Thank y'all so much for watching, for listening, and I will see y'all next time.